Are you approaching your 50s or are you in your 50s and feeling stuck? Are you feeling like life is passing you by and wish someone would just come point you in the right direction? Welcome to the Path to Being 50 and Free show with Karen Theimer. Your path to freedom starts now. Join Karen Theimer on a journey where she explores with experts globally and empowers others to live a life of freedom. Karen will teach you how to claim your life back by covering topics around creating emotional and financial freedom. There is more to life than what you are living. Make a decision and start now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of the Path to Being 50 and Free. I can't believe it's 9 episodes already. Wow. My name is Karen Theimer, and I am your podcast host for today. And I know if you're listening to this, you're searching for something new. Maybe you're looking to improve your health. Maybe you're looking for some clarity in life. I don't know what it is for you, but I know for me, that's how I started listening to podcasts, because I was just searching for different things in life. And so I would love to introduce my guest today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. But I would like to introduce my guest today, who is also a very good friend of mine, Carol Ward. Thank you for coming on my podcast today. So Carol is a mindset and business coach. She helps empower women so they can create their desired wealth by releasing their money block and using the right business strategies. While Carol enjoyed many years working as an accountant, she felt a calling to work on inner beliefs. She is now certified as a master NLP practitioner, and together with her CPA, she helps women to look at their finances with confidence and clarity. And I'm so excited to have you as my guest because you have helped me with a lot of money blocks in the past. So thank you for joining us today. My first question for you is, what is a poverty mindset and how do you get out of it?
Great question. First of all, Karen, thank you so much for having me on here. This means a lot. You are such a dear friend, and to be on here with you means a lot. So thank you. Lovely question. What is a poverty mindset and how do we get out of it? When you're in a poverty mindset, that's when you start to notice you've got debts. That's when you are spending more than you're bringing in. And, sometimes I say to people, when you get extra money, what do you do with it? When you win extra money or someone gives you extra money, what do you do with it? And do you save any of it or do you spend all of it? And just tracking your behavior will show you what type of mindset you have if you're coming from a place of lack, of scarcity. And that's the poverty mindset right there. And a lot of our behaviors are led by our beliefs. And these beliefs are formed in our childhood years, normally from 0 to 7. That's where we form most of our beliefs, not all of our beliefs, but that's where we form most of it. And a belief like a child, remember, a child at 4 or 5 is immature and possibly don't know the full story. So when that child makes an assumption or draws a conclusion, it's not the full picture. Right. Mm-hmm. So he or she may see her parents fighting and thought, oh my gosh, when I see my parents fighting, it brings me pain. It makes me feel sad. So when I grow up, I'm not going to have anything at all to do with money. And that's just a decision that a little 5-year-old, a 6-year-old makes and then forgets all about it. Right. But as you get older, your unconscious mind remembers this. And like when it's snow and a car tire goes over snow, how it makes grooves? Well, the same way, it's getting stronger and stronger as we get older because we believe now money's not good. Money causes pain. Money causes me to feel sad. And so when you start to work, what do? You spend your money. You enjoy your money. You said to excuse, I'm working really hard. I must enjoy my money. I want to know things, so I must go out and spend. And that's okay. Spending is great. That's how the economy moves. Money comes in, money comes out, but on a balanced level. If we spend more than we bring in, then we're already at a disadvantage because now we're building debt.
Mhm.
And when we're building debt, now what's the consequence? We're going to lay in bed late at night and we're going to think, oh boy, how am I going to pay off that debt? So that increases your worry, your stress level, your anxiety level. And once you get into this negative pattern, sometimes you're just digging a hole for yourself. And it's kind of hard to climb out of that hole by yourself. This is where you may need to work with a coach or work with a buddy or an accountability partner, because sometimes doing things on your own, even though it shouldn't be, we're all humans though, it can be a little bit more difficult. And, once you have this awareness that, hey, I'm making really good money, where is it going? First thing is awareness. Once you're aware of it, and like I said, you go back, you work with someone, you trace it back to what could possibly be causing this sort of behavior, and you figure out, I didn't want to have money because my parents were fighting. So you figure that out and you said, okay, I'm going to change my behavior. And it's a wonderful choice because, I want you to think of a penny. A penny has two sides. You flip it on one side, and what do you have? You continue doing the same thing day in, day out, you get the same results. You flip it on the other side, and hey, this is a brand new behavior. I'm going to try something brand new today. And it's great when you try brand new things. Now, you may run into some obstacles, and that's okay. That's okay to run into the obstacles because we've got this thing called the subconscious mind that tries to keep us safe. And the moment that we step out and do something new, like trying to change our old belief that, money is bad, hey, subconscious mind will say, where are you going? Come back. You're trying something new. You may be disappointed. Let me protect you from that. Come back here so you're not disappointed. But that's only a perceived disappointment. We don't know what's going to happen. Right? So anyway, be prepared as you make these adjustments, these shifts in your beliefs that you will run into obstacles, and it's okay, but just have the expectation that it will happen. But once you start to say, you know what, money is energy and it's how I deal with money. I already have everything within me and money just amplifies it. If I'm not a good person, money's going to amplify because then I have more to spend to show I'm not a good person. If I'm a good person, money will amplify that. So let's get the thought out money's not good. Money doesn't make us do good things or bad things. It's our choice to decide what we need to do with that money. So once you've made that decision and day in, day out, you start to have this belief that money is good, make that into a belief. And you practice this every day. Now, one thing I will say, and this is coming from my NLP training, of course, is having positive self-talk. So if you could talk to yourself every day and say, you know what, I'm good enough. I can save. I can do this. Become your own cheerleader. Know that you can do it. Another tip I can quickly share with you, meditation. I love meditation. I find when I meditate, it leaves me in a space where I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm open to receive on a higher level. And I'm open to give on a higher level. Meditation caused me to be, like I said, calm, rested, and re-energized. So those are some of the reasons why you could be in a poverty mindset, what you can do with it, some of the things that you may run into on your journey of moving away from that negative to the positive. You will run into some obstacles and things you can do to overcome those obstacles. And just think how free you will be. And then you can start saving. You could get yourself out of debt, and think how good and freeing that is to get yourself out of debt. No more late night worrying about, I owe this, and what if I lose my job? How am I going to pay? You free yourself from all of that because now you're saving the money, you're addressing your debt, and you're looking at your savings. And you're saving to invest.
Yeah. And thank you, because this is amazing. And you and I have actually worked together, and I've learned so much from you. And one of the biggest things you taught me that I actually, for most of the time I do it, right, is like when I go and buy something, do I need it or want it? Right.
Yes.
And that has really stuck with me, and half the time we don't even know that we're living in that poverty mind, and what I like to coach people on as well is that, to say to people, if you're constantly saying, I can't afford, I can't afford, I can't afford, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, that's that poverty mindset. right? So it's like, maybe just change the words. You know what? I choose to not, choose to not purchase this right now or as of yet, and that kind of thing, right? So you've taught me a lot about how the words we use are so powerful. And one of the things that I remember hearing you and your friend talk about was writing a letter. That to me, like a Dear Money letter, if nobody has ever done this, I highly recommend it. And it's a Dear Money letter. So what is it that you hate about money? Right. And then you have to find the good side. So the dark and the light. So it's like, I had to go through everything I hated about money, but it's like, okay, well, wait a minute. Money is good too, right? Like money just amplifies who you are. If you're a good person, it will amplify that. If you're a bad person, it will amplify that. So I'm learning more and more around all that. So, and you have taught me so much, and I love the, do I need it or want it? Right. Because it does make a big difference, because somebody like like I am one of those that I have, the more money I make, the more I spend. Right. So that's that, lack mentality. Right. So yeah, great tips, great tips. So another question is, can you share one business tip you are currently using in your business?
Oh, I love that question, Karen. When you think business, you think business strategies and you think your business blueprint. And I have my business blueprint that has my budget and have my goals. I need that organization. But before I even get to my business blueprint, one thing that I have done is I have identified who I am as a leader in my business. So I am the CEO. And when you hear CEO, you will think Chief Executive Officer. Well, that is correct. And that is who I am in my business. But CEO also means for me, Chief Emotional Officer. Right? Do you like that? Yes, I love it. And when I read it, I thought this is really, because I talk about emotions, right? And how we really, are we responding to situations? Are we reacting emotionally? So when you look at our face, if we're angry, it's going to be in our face. I'm going to have a really angry face. I'm not happy with you. And it's also going to be expressed in your body language, right? Do your shoulders go up? What are you talking about? Your body language and your facial expressions really and truly reveal your emotions. So as a business leader, how do you want to show up when you are faced with adverse situations? So, and I always go back to this situation when I worked in a company. I knew as the controller that the company didn't have enough money. And I knew the owner was going to the bank to find out to see if he can get a loan. And so when he walked back into the office, this is how he came in. Hiding his face, don't want to watch anyone in the eyes, and his whole body was hunched over. And so right away, I knew from his whole demeanor, his whole stance, he possibly didn't get that loan. Now, other people were in the hallway, and I'm sure they got a similar message from him. So be aware of the message that you're sharing. You may not have employees right now, but I'm sure you have customers. You've got friends, you've got vendors, you network with people who can send customers your way. How are you showing up? What's your face saying? What's your body language saying? And so sometimes you gotta think, when you react, how are you reacting? So things that I have done, and so I'm writing this book with Lisa Pinnock. I'm one of the co-authors in Uncover Your Light. And I have a chapter. So in my chapter, I share, because I really and truly listen to my inner voice. And this is something I'm learning. And every day, because I'm practicing it, I know it's getting stronger. So what I do, I just count from 1 to 15. And somewhere along 8 or 9, I feel my body relaxing, the blood flowing a little bit better. I'm breathing a little bit easier. So then I could respond in a reasonable way. Cool. So that's one thing that I do, is how do I show up as a leader to my employees, to my customers. Another thing that I found out too, like I had to define who I am as a leader. I realized I used to come on every morning and I'll do my morning routine. And then I got onto social media and I got lost into Facebook. I look at email and I'm doing other people's work and I'm looking at messages. Then I realized I should really sit down and define when is my most productive time. And my most productive time for me is in the morning and in the evening. And what was I doing? I was giving away my productive time by doing somebody else's work, by answering email, answering messages, and going and get lost in Facebook. So then I had to decide, where do I want to spend my productive time? And that's when I start doing my work. And then I figure out when is my least productive time. Because also, like, at 3:00 for me is tea time. I just want to get off and relax and take a little break, so that I go, yeah, I have a little, at 3:00, and here I am at 3:00 with you. But 3:00 for me sometimes is just a tea time. And then I had to figure out, well, this productive thing, sometimes I just like to think about things and write it down. And then there's a lot of productive time when I like to get action oriented, where I want to do things. So figuring out my productive time, thinking time, action time, when is the least productive time for me, that has really helped me in my business. And another thing I've done, I've started blocking off time. And I remove social media, like my phone. I move my phone out of the room, so I will not be tempted. No distractions. I just focus. I call it focus hour or power hour. And I just focus on my work. And I find I get so much work done. And now first started with half hour, and then I increased it to an hour. So in now 1 hour, I get so much work done. It's almost like a whole day's work I get done on that 1 hour. And I do that for a few times. And this is the first thing I've done. I identify who I am as a leader. So then that message will be, shared with my employees or with my customers. So the issue of trust doesn't come up, because if you are a crappy, moody person, you think your customers will want to deal with you? Are they going to trust? Oh, if I call Carol, what type of mood is she going to be in, right? So take away all of that uncertainty. Present yourself as you would a leader in the business, a person who's approachable, and a person knows what she wants, and a person who's confident that she can help herself and help you as best as she can. And then we can get into the business structure of, let's looking at the business blueprint. Let's look at the business goals and the budgets and so forth.
Love that. I love that. And I love that because I've started doing this year, 2022, I've started going, okay, I need to manage my time better, because, and block off those chunks of time, right? For me, a half an hour, it's like I'm going to block off chunks of a half an hour, because sometimes for me to sit for an hour, I start like getting antsy, right? So it's like, unless I'm in flow, sometimes I'm like, at least if I know if I block off that half an hour throughout the day, right? Like chunks of it, then if that's all I get, then great. I've been productive in that half an hour. But if I go over, then it's like the cheerleader come out, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
and I like that, because also too, like before this podcast, I was sort of feeling off a little bit. And I'm like, I put on some music and shift my own energy and going, okay, who can we help? Who can we inspire today between you and I and whoever's listening and stuff, right? But it's really like, how do you want to show up? Whatever that is, right? Like if you work for somebody or you're an entrepreneur, how do you want to show up? Who do you want to be? I mean, being yourself, but do you want to be a leader? Like, what is it that you want? And that. So I love that, because it's just this year I'm really focusing on that, right?
Yes.
So I love it. So last question, because so recommendation for a good book you are currently reading and that can help us with our mindset.
Oh, I love this book. It was recommended to me. So I belong to a networking group called Fin City. And one of the members in that group recommended this book. It's called, I don't know if you can see it, Unfettered Soul.
That book. It's amazing.
It's amazing, by Michael A. Singer. I love this book. From the moment I picked it up, it was magic. I could not put it down. And I am going to reread it, because of course, you read things, but then you get distracted, your mind wanders, so you miss parts. So I'm going to go back and reread it and see what is it that I missed. But I love it. It really and truly, it deals with your thoughts. Like, what is your relationship with your thoughts and your emotions. And then he goes into showing you how you can get out of any negative habitual thoughts so that you can free yourself and just, oh, I love it. I love it. Live a life of freedom and just connect with your innermost self. That's what this whole thing is about, getting rid of all the distractions of who you are. What is your purpose here? What is it you're meant to do here? And getting rid of all the comparing yourself to other people and all these thoughts that, if I don't do this, what will this one think of me, and so forth. Getting rid of all of that comparing and so forth, and just looking at who you are. Mm-hmm. How are you reacting? And as you said, how are you showing up as you?
Yeah.
Not as somebody else, because nobody else could be you and you can't be anybody else but you. So what is your best you?
Yeah. And it's hard, right? Like, and this is why I believe, for my own journey, why it's so important to hire a coach, right? Like, as you know, we can't figure out everything on our own. Like, I know for me, it was like, okay, I'm tired of living in my past. I'm tired of like just constantly thinking of my past. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do, to move forward? Like, I'm stuck, right? Yeah. And it's important, I believe, to have a coach that, like yourself, like me, that we can just help people discover the best version of themselves, right? Yeah. Because, like, as you know, like, I know, like with the money and everything, like we get stuck, right? And it's like, yes. All I know is before I was like, okay, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. I'm really embarrassed about it. And when I had to show you and be honestly true to myself, like, yeah, I was in debt and I have to be honest of where I'm at, but then a coach like yourself, where you make me feel so like I'm not an idiot, right? And I don't need to be embarrassed. It's like, okay, you helped me with that. I'm going, okay, don't be embarrassed. What do we need to do to move forward? Right. And that's it. And you made me feel so welcome, like so comfortable. And it's like, no judgment. That's the word I was thinking of, no judgment.
Yes.
Because that's what it's all about. We're all afraid of being judged because we judge ourselves all the time, right? So, but that Untethered Soul is a great book. And then the other one is The Journey Home.
Oh, I must check that out.
Oh, it's amazing. I've lost it. So now I need to go buy another one. But yeah. So my question that I always ask everybody is, what does freedom mean to you?
That is a really deep question. Freedom to me, just releasing everything and just being me. That's all it means, is that stop comparing. Stop, you could be a billionaire and be the poorest person in your mind. Mm-hmm. And you could be, don't have all the material things like a wealthy person and be so happy. So it's freedom for me. It's just being happy right where I am right now. I don't want to be happy when I do this thing, or be happy when I become a millionaire or a billionaire, or be happy when I have a helicopter. I don't want to wait for those things. I just want to be happy right here. And like you said, you don't want to live in your past, and you certainly cannot live in your future. You only have this one moment right here that you can live. And how do you want to be in this moment? Free.
Yeah.
Free and happy, just to be.
Yeah. And it's so important to enjoy every moment. I find whatever, everything that's happening today, it's just noise, right? Like, it's like, okay, no, stay focused. And, how do I make this day the best day ever? And even if I'm having a bad time, it's okay. I'm going to flip it around and make it, right. And freedom, my question for everybody out there, what does freedom mean to you? Because it's important to know what that is, right? Yeah. So how does one, we only have a couple minutes, but how does one find you? Like, someone to work with Carol?
All right. Thank you so much. Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am to be here with you. You can reach me at my website is mindsense.com, and I'll spell it MINDSENZE.com. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Carol Ward CPA. And I have my Facebook group, Money Matters with Carol. And if you want to join, I would love to have you join my group. I also do interviews every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on IGTV. So if anyone would like to showcase their business, I will just reach out to me, DM me. And Karen, I can't thank you enough. This has been wonderful. And you're such a wonderful friend. So thank you.
Thank you. And I always love our conversations. And you and I could probably talk forever.
Yes, yes.
Which is great. So I really do appreciate you being on here and sharing your expertise and how one, attacked you and stuff. And I highly recommend working with Carol because she's just very calming and relaxing and makes you feel like no judgment, right? So, but again, thank you, I always enjoy this, and till we meet again.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Path to Being 50 and Free show with your host, Karen Theimer on transformationtalkradio.com. Join her next time to continue learning new ways to claim your life of joy and stop letting life pass you by. Your path to freedom starts here. To work with Karen, visit 50andfree.ca. That's FIFTYANDFREE.ca. Make a decision and start now.